What's up, guys, and good morning from California. My name is Carlos, and it's quite cold outside right now. I would say it's about 50 to 60 degrees, which I know in compared to other places, it's not as cold. I'm just not used to it here. But by the end of this video, I want to give you 4 dieting lessons that would have made my fitness less stressful and actually more enjoyable to get in much better shape. Because there's a lot of nuances out there that's like, oh, fitness is so complicated than it needs to be. But I just want to be that voice out there. It's like, it's not as what these guys say it is. It's not what these motivational videos say it is. It's not what these other like fitness influencers say it is. I simply want to just give you the raw truth of what helped me and personally enjoy it more rather than like just suffer. And before we get into it, I have some 2 mini Belgian waffles right here, so I might be just eating it throughout the video. And I have a hazelnut iced coffee right now. So the first thing was I had to redefine discipline, which I thought discipline was I had to say no to everything. Like, for example, my friends, they would invite me out to go eat, and I would usually 99% of the time just say no, and I would just stay back home. And even when I did say yes, like to going out with them, I would always feel this guilt, like this weird gut feeling guilt that I was doing something super wrong, like I was doing a crime or something. Like, for example, my friends would invite me to go out, right, and I would say no most of the time because I felt guilty for saying so. And even when I did say yes, I would have this like gut feeling that I was making a crime or something, like I was doing something wrong. And even when my family went out, I would always say no and like just stay back home all the time because I thought that, oh, that's what it took for me to get in the best shape. I had to suffer like this. And so the more I suffered, that's what I thought discipline was about. Because I used to see all these videos that were like, oh, you have to just lock in, you have to just burn the boats if you're gonna go all in or be all out. And I just thought there was no middle line. I couldn't like enjoy my life and also try to get in the best shape as possible. But what I learned is that it's not about avoiding everything altogether. It's just about not letting yourself swing too hard one way. Because the more I grew up, the more I realized like these moments right here, like these valuable moments are much more valuable than just missing 20 grams off my protein. Like, of course I can get back on track if I just miss one day, but you never know when you might capture a moment that you could use for like a scrapbook in the future, or like at a wedding or at a funeral. Like, you just never know. You might capture like a photo, you might capture a memory, you might capture something. You might meet someone in the future. Like, you just never know. And missing one day, right? And there's a nuance to this, of course. Missing one day off your diet is not going to make or break your physique. That's like saying one healthy meal is going to build you all the muscle in the world. Now, I'm not saying to eat like it's your last day on earth, right? But what I'm saying is that you just never know when it might be your last time, making memories with someone, or it might be, you might meet someone when you go out. What I'm saying is that just don't let yourself swing hard one way and sacrificing your health just to go out with your friends. The second thing is that the guilt is far more worse than the actual big meal that you had. So whenever I did say yes to my friends or I did say yes to my family, I would still have this like imposter feeling in my stomach, like, oh, I'm doing something wrong, or I'm like committing a crime to my cut. And despite having that feeling, I would still try to convince myself that everything was fine. Like, even though it was literally fine, my brain would not let it go that, oh, I'm doing something wrong. And so I would, have this feeling throughout the whole way of like, from the beginning I got in the car with my friends to when I, get to the restaurant, it's like this feeling is like, I'm still thinking about it. Shoot, I'm gonna mess myself up. And the more I had that feeling, the more I let my mind wander, the less I even enjoyed the meal in the first place. Even when it was something really good, I was always thinking in the back of my mind, oh my goodness, you should not be eating this, you should not be eating this. Like, I would always tell myself, you should not be eating this, when I was literally eating it. So naturally, instead of blaming myself, I would always blame like the food, or I was always blaming the friends or my family that I was with. But in reality, it was a personal problem with me. And I would argue that the mindset after a meal like that is far more powerful and far more worse than the actual meal itself. You can go and eat that meal and just not let it affect you, and you can just get right back on track. But what we do is that we eat the meal, and then that mindset of guilt is like, oh, I messed up, like I did something wrong, I should not be doing this, I might as well just go all out today. Now that is the real danger of it, because now instead of letting one meal, just like being set and forget, now you let that one meal carry on to another meal and to another meal and to another meal, and now that's what ruins progress. The combination of meals. It's almost like a relationship, and you break up, right, and you carry that burden onto the next relationship. It's like there's no need to carry that burden. That, yes, the experiences affected you, but there's no need to carry that burden into the next relationship when that person had nothing to do with the first relationship. And so that meal that you had before has nothing to do with what your next meal is. It doesn't mean that you have to go all out for the rest of the day. No, you could just get right back on track and just not let it affect you. And like I said, it's like saying that one healthy meal is all of a sudden going to make you look healthier or like make you look slimmer, right? And in reality, you might see like, maybe some difference, but the same way how one healthy meal doesn't make you automatically slimmer, one bad meal is not going to just all of a sudden make you more fat. It's almost like we as humans, as creatures, we expect to see an immediate result after an action. And so that's why, after we work out, we go to the gym, the mirror to see a pump, right? We do cardio and we expect to see our waist a little bit slimmer, or we expect to see some abs. And now the same thing with the meal, we eat a unhealthy meal, we expect to see our physique like just blow up, but that's not the case, right? So the same way with the good side of, eating one healthy meal or doing one workout session is not going to automatically make a big difference. That's the exact same way with the unhealthy meal. Now, the third one is the stricter I became, the more tempted I was. So in human psychology, we usually want what we can't have. And so whenever I told myself, oh, I can't eat that, right? I would see like maybe a cookie on the table. I would tell myself, oh, I can't eat that. But my brain would be like, okay, now that's what we're thinking about all day. It's almost like as if someone told you to not press a button, and now the only thing on your mind is to wanting to press that button. And so it's just like this imposter thing, oh, what if I do that? What if I do press it? What if I break the rule? Now, this is where it gets counterintuitive, because the more restrictions we put on ourselves, the more tempting our brain gets to want to eat those things, right? And now, since you're tempting your brain to want to eat those things, now it's taking even more energy to stop yourself from eating those things. And so now it's like double energy, right? So you're trying to stop yourself from having the foods that you told yourself you can't have, because it just gets more tempting when you tell yourself, oh, I can't have that. So what I'm saying is that the more you completely forbid something, the more tempting it is and the more control it has over you. But what I find really helps me personally is that if I see something that I really want to eat, right? If I want to go to like a coffee shop right there, like it has a new coffee shop, or if I want to go try a new item at a certain store, if I see something on the counter on the table, I make sure that it's in my conscious power to just enjoy it in moderation. What's helped me personally is that if I want to, try something at this, I'm going out with my friends and I see something I really want to try, or if I'm going out with my family and I see something I really want to try, or if I, go to someone's house and it's like, someone offers me something, I make sure I make the conscious decision to enjoy it in moderation. Because when you completely forbid something, like, oh, I can't have this at all, your brain it's just this natural thing. Your brain naturally just wants to have it more, because it's like, oh, what if I eat it? What if I eat it? So if you just tell yourself, you really can't want what you've already ate, right? So if you just eat it and just consciously eat it in moderation and you enjoy it, and next meal you just get back on track, your brain, you're not fighting it all day, right? Because maybe it's like, oh, you're at a party and there's like this new dessert on the table and it's like, oh, I can't have it because I'm cutting, right? But your brain is like, oh, what does it taste like though? What does it taste like? What does it taste like? So if you just, just eat it. Just like if there's a cupcake on the table, just eat it. Just eat it, right? And enjoy it. And then boom, your brain is not constantly thinking about, oh, what does it taste like, right? Because you already tasted it. And obviously don't indulge. Just like have one, have two, and that's it. And the next time, next meal, you make sure you get right back on track. And now the final one, don't punish yourself for being human. So whenever I did go off my plan, I would, justify it by saying, oh, I'm gonna do extra cardio, or I'm gonna do extra exercise. And I would go to the gym and I would just absolutely hate it. Like I would do the Stairmaster, I would do the treadmill. I would probably, do an extra set in the gym, like for everything I did in the exercises. But I didn't really realize that this was just making my fitness much more stressful, because instead of using exercise as a healthy way, as a health thing, I was using it as like a punishment. But that's like punishing a baby for crying, because it's natural for us to have cravings. Like it's all natural, like everybody has them, and it's always good and once in a while to give in to those cravings, but it's not good to indulge in them, because having cravings is natural, but we beat ourselves up for it. Like it's like, oh, I'm not supposed to be having these cravings, and so we punish ourselves for this wrong reason. Personally, we should not criticize ourselves for having these cravings, because it's all natural, we should criticize ourselves from what we do after. Like, how do we react, right? When we do and give into those cravings, how do we react to that situation? Do we let let that spiral into like our other meals, like I said before? Or do we just like, just cut it straight then and there and just get back on track? Doesn't matter if you had a bad meal, doesn't matter if you had a bad day, but the best thing to do is just know what you're in control of. You're not in control of your cravings. They're gonna happen here and there. I even have them sometimes, and I would say I'm in good shape. But that we should not criticize ourselves for, put ourselves down for having these cravings. They're all natural. What we should criticize ourselves on is what we do after, right? How we react to them. Because tomorrow or the next meal, that's what you have control over. You have control over when you can just hop back on track. You don't have to let that one meal, that one snack that you had, that one bad day that you had spiral into the rest of your meals or the rest of your days. It's almost like, stocks, they have this chart, and there's like a 24-hour chart view. There's like a 48-hour chart view, and there's like a 1 day, not 1 day, there's a 1 month, and there's 1 year. We base our progress based off the 24-hour chart too often. So you might have a bad day, but in that 1 year timeline, this bad day might look like just a tiny dip, right? So like in a grand scheme of things, we think that, one meal in 1 day is gonna ruin our progress, but in the grand scheme of things, it's just like a tiny little dip that doesn't really even, affect us. So if you could just look at progress like that, just like after 1 year, right? Does this one meal really, ruin my progress? Not really. It's just 1 day. And so if you just get back on track, you're still going to be in the green even after another year goes by and you have, one bad meal every month or something. If you just learn that this one thing is not as big as you think, that one bad meal that you had is not as big as you think, you're going to enjoy life much more better. And so those are the 4 main lessons. And I'm sure you can recognize a pattern here. The more you try to chase your physique, or you try to chase, being in great health, like the more you chase something, the more farther away it's going to go. It's almost like a girl, right? If you, try to get at her, she's going to go farther away. If you just, just be yourself and you're just like kind of nonchalant, I guess you could say, it's not, she goes towards you, right? And so if you just, the more you chase a good physique, or the more you chase something, it's not really going to be given to you. So don't just try harder. It's not about just trying harder like these Instagram reels say or these TikToks say. It's more of just making sure that you can be human and enjoy stuff in moderation on the way to your fitness and health. Because one thing is not going to ruin your progress, right? One healthy meal is not going to get you jacked. One unhealthy meal is not going to get you fat. So it applies both ways. It's not like it only applies one way, not the other. But I truly think if I knew this, before I had my first cut last year, like I was doing everything wrong last year. Even though I was, seeing progress and I did get in better shape, it could have been much more smoother. But hopefully that helped and I gave you some clarity that it's not just about, trying to be as strict as possible. It's also trying to enjoy life better. And so that's also what I promote on my Instagram. You can follow my Instagram. It's right there in the description. I promote every single day. I post my stories about, health and wealth, not health and wealth, health and fitness, sorry, health and fitness. And, just what my daily process is that you could see on my Instagram stories right now. There's probably a couple up there right now. And you can just see my daily process that really gets me in the best shape as possible as I can for my age. I'm just 21 right now. So I still have a long way to go. But you can find more value on there. I'm planning to post more and shifting more towards faith and fitness and, some health as well with food. So hopefully you can check that out. I'll see you guys in the next one.